Café Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
This is the double episode. It is the episode 2727.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
2727. It's Mike Matthews here at Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Today, I went to work and did a bunch of stuff, and then I went to Costco. But get this story isn't done. Not enough.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Not enough of the information yet to finish the story. Here's the rest of the information. This Costco is new.
Mike's
brand new.
Daily
So much so,
Podcast.
it is like empty inside. I was shocked. In the Bay Area, an empty Costco? What happened? Did another COVID happen? Oh, please don't even say that. Don't even hint at that. Especially since I didn't buy toilet paper. Because remember that run on toilet paper? That was ridiculous. So it's brand new. I'm not going to tell you where it is, because then you're going to go to it and then it's not going to be empty anymore. But everything I could ever want, and room and space, and not people on top of people, and I can move around. Oh, the little things in life are so joyful, especially in the Bay Area. So I went to that, and it's pretty close to my work. And if you've listened to this podcast long enough, you know kind of where I work. But that's neither here nor there or anywhere or up there. What's up there? Oh, that's interesting. So one thing I was very upset with this place is they didn't have chia seeds. Yes, Mike eats chia seeds. Well, not so much me as my lovely lady friend, but I put them in my smoothie, and they're rich in omega-3 fatty acids that I need. The omega-3 stuff, because I've got the bad fats in my body, and the omega-3s clean out the bad fats so that I don't die of a heart attack, hopefully.
And here's today's podcast picture.
There's no plaque building up in my veins, which I know my doctor's going to yell at me about this week. The podcast picture today is not of my doctor. It's going to be probably from something that happened within the past couple of days, because it makes this podcast so pertinent. Because Mike brings you a podcast daily. And it's a podcast. And his name is Mike. And we'll talk a little sci-fi in a moment. Why the late great Basil the Boxer? I should post a picture of him. I have not posted a picture of the late great Basil the Boxer. We'll definitely do a Basil picture. Let's do that instead. Yes, you got to see a little bit of my thinking process.
The Cutting Corners Corner.
The Cutting Corners Corner. And Kuti Gatwa. I don't think I've got the new doctor's name completely 100%. But spoilers here. If you haven't heard this by now, you're not a true Doctor Who fan and you don't care anyway. But usually when the Doctor regenerates, as in the actor is done playing the role and wants to leave, they do this thing where the Doctor gets mortally wounded and his body starts to regenerate and he starts to glow really brightly. And then next thing you know, he has become the next Doctor. Well, woo! They did something interesting where the Doctor was like in mid-transformation, and two people on either side of him that happened to be well-known companions of his, legendary companions that have traveled with him in other adventures. One traveled with him back 10 years ago. The other traveled with him back in the 80s. And both are redhead. And I don't know if that has something. The redheads have magical powers. I don't know. The gingers. They pulled him just as he was regenerating, and out came the new Doctor, Gatwa, and Nkuti. I think I'm saying that right. Or I've heard it Shuti too. And then the other David Tennant remained. And now there's 2 doctors, basically. And the new doctor goes off and travels. Oh, and there's 2 TARDISes now.
Mike's out of left field recordings.
Recording everything captures actions that will never again be repeated.
Gatwa is going to travel through time and space and have adventures. And David Tennant shall remain in England with his friends, the 2 redheads, and their families. He's not romantically linked to them, as far as I could tell. So, this has stirred up some controversy. Some people, no, you can't have 2 doctors existing. That breaks the laws of time and space. But the thing is that they have been rewriting the whole canon of Doctor Who for a long time. And I was so mad when they made it suddenly. The Doctor had a finite amount of regenerations back in the day. So, like, Tom Baker was the 4th Doctor. He was the one with the really long scarf. And then the first Doctor was, oh my gosh, not Patrick Troughton. That was the second one. Though, see, I'm a bad Doctor Who fan. I don't remember the first one. He'll pop into my head in a moment. But they were like, okay, so, each one had a number. Patrick Troughton was the second one.
A fine article.
You silly, great, fat article.
Magnification.
But Pertwee was the third. Tom Baker, then Peter Davidson, who David Tennant is actually married to his daughter in real life. Then you had the Colin Baker, because you can't have enough Bakers in your movie, in your television series lore. Then Sylvester McCoy, later Paul McGann. Some people count, what's his name? There was a cartoon that was done before, just after Paul McGann.
Magnification.
Robert Lee, something like that. Then there was Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi. In between,
you will travel into the incredible universe.
Paul McGann and Christopher Eccleston. They did have John Hurt, who was the War Doctor. Let's see, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, then Jodie Whittaker. And then during the Jodie Whittaker years, as we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
Anyway.
The last place on Earth. You had the interesting reveal that the Doctor has actually regenerated billions and billions of times. Maybe countless times. And in fact, Jodie Whittaker meets herself as other regenerations of the Doctor from before the first Doctor.
Whoa! Mike's Matthewsman Park.
The front panel will close automatically. Please remain seated at all times.
The gray-haired guy, William Hartnell.
And now we return you to our regularly scheduled program with Mike Matthews.
William Hartnell. For some reason, William Hartnell was not registering in my brain. So there's all that. So everything gets revised every now and then. But the other interesting sci-fi show that goes back to my childhood, in the late 1970s, 1978, just as Star Wars had gotten so big, hey kids, there was Battlestar Galactica. And I had forgotten about that show, how some of them were really well done as far as special effects at the time.
Do-re-mi the clown.
But like there are sometimes you see the little wires when they're in space being held up. And I did not know Glenn A. Larson, who came up with that show, and also the A-Team, which later Starbuck became Face on the A-Team. But I had forgotten that Glenn A. Larson had such a big part of that show, and he would he was known for borrowing from other shows and movies and things that were popular in culture to turn them into TV shows. And he was also a former musician from a big 1950s, was it the Freshmen? Some big 1950s band. And he actually came up with some of the theme songs that it was really memorable. It was huge. I remember the toys. I remember someone getting killed, a little kid, because the toys shot these little plastic things. And I guess a kid ate it, and the parents sued Mattel or whoever it was that made the toys. Battlestar Galactica was forever connected to that. Then they came out with toys. I remember somebody I knew bought one of them, one of my friends, and it looked like the little thing that the kid had eaten that was supposed to be like the missile that shoots out of the spaceship. You would press the button and it would like come out like not even an inch, just to make it look like it had launched. But it couldn't leave because, well, if it's separated from the spaceship, somebody might try and eat it again and die. All that stuff, all that wonderful sci-fi thing.
The Fascinating Material Project.
That I had forgotten about. Of course, it was later in the early 2000s turned into this huge TV show that lots of people watched.
Ginormous.
And Sam Fine was the one I was watching, his YouTube channel. He does such a great job, and he pokes fun, makes jokes, he imitates the Cylons, he's got the voice.
The Marco Minute. The Marco Minute.
So that's what I did today in my busy world in the Bay Area, going to Costco. Now, I'm sure as busy as the Costcos are in the East Bay, in San Francisco, they're a billion times worse. But the Washington Examiner said this about San Francisco recently. San Francisco has decided to crack down on car burglaries. I mentioned this on the podcast recently.
We love you, Mike.
The city has now seen a drop in car burglaries. What a surprise. It may be impossible to know, but the two things may be related. San Francisco renewed its focus on car break-ins using bait cars, plainclothes police officers, and video surveillance to crack down on car burglaries.
The Daily Haley. The Almost Daily Haley.
And thank you for getting rid of that pro-criminal idiot head District Attorney Chesa Boudin after he was recalled, because I don't know if you've been to San Francisco in the past couple of years. It has become so bad. Now, I went to it earlier this year. I saw Pier 39. I did the touristy stuff close to the Embarcadero. That was okay. That was safe. But you go into the city and bad things are happening. And I would never drive there. So District Attorney Brooke Jenkins has taken a turn for the better, emphasizing vigorous prosecutions, hardline messaging, and police efforts targeted at prolific burglars. Because they think they can get away with it. There are people flying down these residential streets at 80 miles an hour.
The word of dog.
You see it all the time, and it just needs to be a crackdown. Incredibly enough, arresting prolific car burglars and throwing the book at them has resulted in fewer car burglaries. Car burglaries throughout this year matched the numbers from 2022. Then San Francisco pledged to crack down on these break-ins in August, and the numbers dropped dramatically. There were 6,703 reported smash and grab burglaries from September 1st to November 26th. That was last year. That number during that same period this year went from 6,703 to 3,399. Wow. That's fantastic. After the previous 8 months this year matched last year's number. So it is absolutely cause and effect. So hopefully we continue on this new trajectory with Jenkins, and I hope it all works out. Because dang, it is so annoying to see just the lawlessness here. And, you know, the Bay Area, it's applauded for open-minded thinking, for progressive thinking, for, oh, hey, you're not stuck in the 1950s thinking. You're thinking outside the wall, the border, the box, the bordered walled box. And you are doing cool things in the world of tech. All this sort of beyond, you know, sci-fi. It's almost like we're living in a sci-fi place, but in so many ways, it's sci-fi. It's dystopic. So some things, some old-fashioned things like law and order need to be enforced more in the Bay Area. Look who is here outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, Chef Supervisor. The new snow globe that I have, Mike Matthews, talks to you. It's got AI, Mike Matthews. Oh, really? Let me see. Let me try it now. Hello, snow globe. Tell me a joke.
Okay. A guy walks into a bar and he says, "Bartender, I would like a beer." And the bartender says, "Get out of here. This isn't a bar. This is a Star Cruiser from Battlestar Galactica."
Wow, that was not a very funny joke. It was imaginative. It was like a sci-fi story. I enjoyed that part, but yeah, Mike Matthews, I'm working on it. Okay, look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Wow, Mike, all that Costco storytelling you were doing was fascinating. I love to hear about your Costco adventures. Yes.
Magnification.
And it's a good thing you check when you're at Costco. It's very important to remember which credit card to use. Because you could use your Costco credit card that they have and get like a measly 2%. Or right now, Chase wants you to use they will do like a 5% cash back. So just remember to pay off your credit cards and all that fun stuff. But tell me what you think about anything we covered today. You can call me at this number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And with more ways to reach me, it is A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com.
Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!